What is going on, everyone? MikeO back, finally, with my overdue 2022 National Sports Collectors Convention recap. Just want to provide some thoughts. Like to do these every year. I know it's a couple weeks after the National at this point. I was certainly delayed. Like many people, I came home with an unwanted pickup, and that set me back a little bit. But just always like to do a recap, provide some thoughts, if for no reason other than to create that time capsule that in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, I can go back on and recall some memories and take a look at some pickups from the National. Obviously, I did some daily recaps and showed off most of what I picked up, but I'm going to show off a few of the highlights and just chit-chat a little bit about what I thought of the 2022 National. And as always, it was awesome. The National is always a great time. Sure, there are things about every National you can nitpick about. There are complaints. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is ever going to be completely perfect no matter what. But it was a blast, as I like to say, and incredible overall. Atlantic City, pluses and minuses, of course. For me, a major plus, it's not far away. Hour and a half ride. That is a huge, huge advantage. If you have a National that is within driving distance to you, it provides so many possibilities. Gives you a chance to bring some extra stuff that you might want to sell. It gives you an opportunity to purchase larger items, bulk items, wax, things that you would have to second guess and think a lot about avoiding. At a show that you're flying to, you can bring with you, and you can go back and forth if need be. So it provides a lot of benefits that way. I thought the convention center and how expanded it was, and the setup was probably the best I've seen at any of the Nationals I've attended. I think this was the 7th one I've attended. So the show floor was fantastic. Internet service for me there wasn't terrible. I have T-Mobile, but I know those who had AT&T and Verizon and other companies had some problems. And I'm not saying it was perfect. It certainly wasn't perfect. But to me, that was not a huge issue. The surrounding area of the convention center, not horrendous. Anything outside of a few blocks, it's a little iffy. Atlantic City, obviously down. It's gone down considerably in the last 6 years since the previous National in Atlantic City. The good thing is the community. You can see the video playing there. That's what made it fantastic, even staying away from the National. Because unless you were at the Sheraton, you were probably going to have to take an Uber or such. But if you're in a house, if you're in a hotel, you had groups of people that you could hang out with. And I think that made you feel better for sure. So it was definitely a concern. Safety was on the mind, and it always should be at a National, but it stood out a little more at this one. I'll leave it at that. As far as the show in general, I thought it was great. It actually took me, I started walking the show Wednesday, though I was taking care of a lot of business, so I didn't spend a lot of time on the floor, looking for myself. But took all of Thursday, all of Friday, and all of Saturday. So between Wednesday and Saturday is what it took me to walk the show. I typically like to at least look at every table as best I can, because the things I'm looking for at the National for the collection are items that I'm not going to just pop up on eBay all the time. And they become available at auction houses, but it's something that is going to be few and far between. It could be a couple years between these items being available. So I like to look as thoroughly as possible. So I was trying to balance a lot at the show, trying to balance hanging out with the dozens upon dozens of people I knew at the show, and the many that I met for the first time and the many that I met for the second, third, fifth time. And that was incredible. So I was trying to balance that and the social and vacation aspect of it, but also trying to seriously look at the show and try and find things that were going to be tough to come by. And then I was, of course, had some stuff with me that I had to move. So that was a goal too. So I was kind of balancing all of those things. And I'd say it was my most successful National in general, just being able to sell off some things and find some unique items, pick up things. Like I said, meet new people, hang out with people, both at the show, after the show. And you've heard it on so many of these chats, but the baseball collector put together YouTube hangout was awesome. Huge turnout, great to touch base with so many people. Took place the same time as the major trade night, which I went over for a short while. Didn't have a lot of success, got there late, and it was overwhelming and crazy. That was awesome. The Filmington Silver Jackify hangout, again, getting to see even more people, meet more people, see some incredible cards, socialize a little bit. That was awesome. The Claridge was where that took place, and there was a huge trade night downstairs, I think on that second floor. And I checked that out that night and then went back the next night. That might have been where Patient Zero was. I don't know. That was a little crazy in there, but I had some success moving some stuff there as well. The show was great. I actually made a major trade that I'll show off. So that was pretty awesome. And then there's so many people I could, of course, can mention. LouRok did a great job capturing this. I didn't capture a lot of video at the show. As always, I wish I would have captured more. And there's so many people I met. It's hard to get into all of them, but obviously there was a lot. And, you know, the show is just awesome. I had the opportunity to get up early Sunday morning, drive back to the area, pick up my dad, bring him to the show. That was an hour and a half each way, and then, of course, an hour and a half back. But it was well worth it. It was the first time he was at a national, and, of course, he only got to experience a very small portion of it, but he really enjoyed seeing the corporate area and some of the giveaways that were going on and looking around at some tables. And we looked at some cards. We didn't make any purchases together, but we glanced at a few Hank Aaron rookies and Hank Aaron autographs, and that. Bought a few boxes of wax to open. Met up with Big Scott 35. So shout out Big Scott 35. I'm wearing your t-shirt, your Mets colored inspired Big Scott 35 t-shirt. But it was awesome to meet up with Scott again. He had a chance to meet my dad. So I know they both enjoyed that quite a bit. Wesker Griff was there Sunday as well. A few others we ran into. But again, the National is awesome. And if anyone tells you it's not worth going to the National, they either haven't been to the National or they have no friends in the hobby. And that's the simplest way I can put it. Listen, obviously, and we've said this before, you can't, and most people can't necessarily go to the National every year. You may be able to go every other year, may only be able to get there every 5 or 10 years. But if you can get to a National, it is absolutely worth it. You might have to plan it, you might have to save up, and you may not be able to experience it every way you want to. You don't have to get the big boy cards. You can get cheap cards, you can get fun cards. But look at the smiles in these videos. Look at all the fun everyone's having and the memories that you get. I mean, it is absolutely worth it. In the moment, it can be tiring. It can be exhausting for sure. But just the array of cards that you can see, the amount of the corporate stuff is growing, and there's freebies and all that kind of stuff if that's what you're into, and breaks and so many live events and big wigs if that's what you're into. And even if you want to get autographs, that's cool. Or if you just want to watch other people get autographs. I didn't get any autographs this year, but seeing the videos of some of our YouTube friends getting autographs. I mean, Jake, Legends Never Die. I mean, watching his clip of him getting Chipper Jones, sensational. John Wade Boggs fan, meeting Wade Boggs again, and many others, and it goes on. And I can think back to past nationals where I either got autographs or I know others and witnessed others get autographs. Like, that's just another aspect. The show, like I said, seeing crazy stuff, like seeing 52 Manals and other big cards that you can't necessarily buy, but you can look at, being inspired, finding stuff. There's cards I found that I had no expectations of buying, having the opportunity to potentially make trades or make purchases, work out deals, add cool stuff to the collection, even find cheap stuff. I found quarter cards that was fun as well. So many amazing aspects. And of course, the people that are at the show, touching base with them. Again, people you might see once a year. Sometimes they're people you see multiple times a year. Sometimes they're people you met for the first time and you build stronger relationships. That is all absolutely incredible. Atlantic City, it was all about the Airbnb, and that was sweet. Able to hang out with, 5 or 6 guys and meet some of them for the first time and build friendships with them was awesome and a great opportunity. Chicago, a little different. Chicago's more individual rooms or pairing up in rooms, but you can get together, even easier, because sometimes people were confined to houses, sometimes people met up at houses. If you're doing trade nights, it was hard to do. I mean, you're meeting up with people all the time, but Chicago's a little easier because you can get to more and more events because everything's closer together. But I look forward to different venues, and I hope there will be different venues. I'd love to get back to Cleveland, big center, drivable for me, huge drive, like 7 hours, but drivable for sure. And some of the different things you can experience there. And then, of course, I would like to see some new venues, maybe in Nashville, somewhere I haven't been before. I think that would be pretty cool. Chicago, though, I certainly look forward to as well. But as always, the National is awesome. The people there are great. Just being involved, just the National, like that experience, that 3 to 5 day experience of being consumed by sports cards, sports, hanging out with like-minded people, your friends at the show, after the show, before the show. It is an incredible experience, and there's a reason why people go, and many, many people go year after year, because it's just awesome. It's something you end up marking down. You think to yourself going in, I'll go every now and then every year you're looking forward to it, and hey, sometimes things come up you can't get to, but you try your best to do so as much as possible. And it's awesome. So let me show some of the highlights in terms of my pickups. And can't wait to Chicago. Aim for Chicago 2023. It was an awesome time in AC. We'll see if they're ever there again in the future. I hope they're back at some point, or at least in the surrounding area, New York, Philadelphia. But we'll see. I think the future for the National is going to be bright. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and be a ton of fun. All right, let's check out some of the top pickups, some of my favorite pickups from the 2022 National. All right, so like I said, the 2022 National was an incredible success just in terms of meeting people, hanging out with people, having a good time, moving some stuff, and picking up some sweet stuff for the collection. And I'm not going to go over every card, even though we got most of them out here. Due to me getting kind of delayed after the National, never got stuff away. So I have everything here, but I'm just going to go over a few of the highlights and a few things that I may not have shown off in another video. During my daily recaps, did get this t-shirt from Baubles and Ball Cards, phenomenal member of the community. He's heavily involved in SGC submissions. Hooked me up with the SGC storage box, so that is a sweet item to keep some very special SGC cards in. So appreciate that, Brandon. Thank you for hooking it up. Of course, was able to pick up a few Phillies for the Platinum Anniversary set. And like I said earlier, you can pick up cheap stuff. I mean, some of these cards were anywhere from $quarter to a few bucks. Cool Alec Bohm Sapphire rookie. I mean, able to just pick up neat stuff. Things you just run into. These were in a value box altogether, and I just thought the red ice cards were awesome. So you can pick up cheap stuff like that at the National. The dollar cards, the 50-cent cards, I mean, those are all super fun pickups. Those sometimes are some of the most enjoyable pickups because they're stress-free. Got this World Series replica ring from Big Smooth. Shout out to Big Smooth. He set up the Airbnb that I stayed at with a great group of individuals, including Dave's Midlife Card Crisis, who, of course, I meet up with at the National every single year, generally room with every year. Hitman 23, Scott Kausert, who's well known for being a bulk submitter for PSA, Dave, Second Dave as well, so that was awesome. Big Smooth also hooked it up with a stack of cards, ton of fun cards, interesting cards for sure. He certainly knows how to pick them. Hit me up with the Hollow Optic Tom Brady as well. I was able to pick up some cheap slabs, of course. The customs, of course, are always fun as well. This set put together by Scott Reindeer Studios, absolutely awesome. Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, who I met for the first time. John Wade Boggs fan, who I met a few times. Jake, Legends Never Die, maybe with the custom of the show. Absolutely awesome there. Of course, you get some promos and stuff. Some of these promo packs, pretty cool. Like I said, cheap stuff, cheap color can be fun. You even end up picking up like stuff as if I'm going to a card show back in 1997 again. Some Phillies stuff as well. So that's what I mean, like everything's a highlight. Now, some of the biggest highlights are going to be in this stack. Some random vintage. This was a gift from Hitman 23, Granny Hamner, Redman. This was a purchase, the Jumbo Elite card of Darren Dalton. That was super sweet. Dave's Midlife hooked this up. The Chosen hooked this up. So some great stuff there. All right, here's a super sweet Tattoo Orbit R308 Charles Fullis. So I'll be sending that in, trying to get that one slabbed soon. Just randomly ran into a John Kruk Fleer update rookie. Prestige Collectibles ran into the 2000 Upper Deck Ovation Ichiro Japanese edition. Didn't even know these existed. Could have bought PSA or CSG. I went with the CSG 10s. I just thought it looked better in that slab. So that's just like a super fun pickup that I did not anticipate. Just kind of browsing the show. This card, I saw it, said, you know what, that is super cheap, and it is cool looking. Do not have one slabbed up for the collection. 52 Bowman Willie Jones. That's awesome. Eparixi 1922 W575. So he's a Hall of Famer, kind of a lower level Hall of Famer if you looked at it numbers wise, but Phillies Hall of Famer nonetheless. And a card from a set I didn't have, so thrilled to grab that. Got this 1926-29 Cy Williams. Cy Williams, one of the big-time power hitters of his time. So he's one of the Phillies all-time guys. Can't remember what his career totals ended up. He was part of the dead ball era, but had some great seasons, some home run championships in the past. Here is a hookup. I think this is from James Elite Hunter, if I remember right. I know Big Scott 35 hit me up with it at the end of the day. Let me show off real quick. I got a whole box full of this, and I only got through a small fraction of it. But these are from Refractor Jones, who sadly I did not end up getting to meet in person. But he handed a bunch of stuff to Big Scott 35 for me, and it's just like an entire box full, like probably 50 sheets worth of Phillies minor league cards, whether it's Reading Phillies or Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons, who used to be their team, and it's pretty neat. Ton of guys, obviously some guys who just flat out never made it, and if you didn't go see them in the minors back in the day, you're not going to remember them. And then a ton of guys who did make it and made impacts on the big leagues. I just passed a Wes Chamberlain, who was part of the '93 Phillies. So it's gonna be fun to go through this. Ramon Henderson down on the bottom. He was a coach with the Phillies for quite a while. So I'll have fun rolling through this and seeing how many guys I recognize. Is it Kevin Stocker, top right corner? So awesome stuff there from Refractor Jones. I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me, hooking me up. Definitely pretty awesome. Now to the four biggest pickups of the show for me. One, definitely something I wasn't necessarily looking for, but Bread for Energy, the bread labels. Jim Constanti, who was an MVP. He was a 1950 National League MVP. Member of the Phillies, had a fantastic career. So, able to pick this up. Not something you see very often. Not very cheap either. But very, very cool. Something that's super exciting to have in the collection. And I know it's something that like I'll love, and there'll be a handful of other old school guys that will love it as well and find it very interesting. Most people probably don't know a lot about it, but those are the types of items that I really do like to look for or come across at the National. The stuff you're not going to see on eBay that you might not have seen available in an auction house in the last 5 years. Here's another pickup. So I picked this one up raw and was able to drop it off with SGC. And I didn't really care what it graded for. Just wanted to... The guy had just bought the collection. He actually just bought both sets and was breaking them up. So I was able to pick up the Fogarty from Allen & Ginter, 1887 Allen & Ginter. And this is one I've been chasing for a while. They did 2 years of them, 87 and 88. I have the one from 88, different player, Mulvey, Joseph Mulvey. This one, I need it. Now, the back had some issues for sure, but the front to me looked really good. Again, not without any problems. I mean, it's well over 100 years. You got indentations, you got a little push there. But overall, I thought it had really good eye appeal. I was happy with it. Obviously, would love like a 1.5, but I would have been thrilled with an authentic. Just basically figured, you know what, SGC's offering this service, why not take advantage of it, buying it raw, knowing that, you know, it's good. So I was able to pick that one up, and that's been on the list for a long time, and it was definitely something I was seeking out and kept my eyes on. Only saw 2 at the show. Both were raw. The other one was way more beat. It was absolutely authentic at best, and it had much... This has much more eye appeal. Believe me, if this is a 1, that would be like, that last one would have been like a -6. And I would have considered picking it up if I didn't find anything else, because I've had a problem winning those at auctions lately, but able to pick that up. All right, next thing. This has been on my list for a while. I've glanced at them for years, but never really made any serious pushes to pick it up. And I was able to grab this 1948 49 Leaf Ted Williams, and this is awesome. I mean, great eye appeal. The front 1.5, got this one done as well, just to kind of, once again, figured take advantage of the service, get it back pretty quickly. And this I acquired in a trade. I traded a 2017 Aaron Judge Topps Chrome autograph card for it that was not graded. Most likely would probably grade a 9. And I was able to get a 48 Leaf Ted Williams for it. Again, a card that's been on my list for a while, so I'm going to have to mark that one off. And I'm thrilled with the way it looks. Now, it's got a stamp on the back. Someone stamped it back in the day for whatever reason. Doesn't bother me that much. I can read everything on it. And overall, it has super nice eye appeal. Love the color of it. And as far as I can tell, like... I don't know. I don't think that was a awesome trade for me. I was thrilled with it. A card that's been on my list for a while, and gave up a card that was red hot at the moment. That is a cool card, but something I didn't need and something that I have multiples of. Like, that was win-win. So this was kind of the unexpected pickup. This one was acquired Saturday and dropped off at SGC very late in the day, and was able to pick it up on Sunday. So thrilled about that. And then I guess my rarest pickup, one I ran into, again, didn't have it on the list, didn't really know much about them. But what I did, my strategy was take care of as much business as I could on Wednesday, and then mix in some of that on Thursday and Friday and Saturday as well. But really stress walking the show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I took notes, and I had a document open, a Google document, kind of with some things I was looking at, and I marked down. I had a list of like 100 things that I looked at, its location, its price, what I would consider. Some things I was serious about, some things less, and this is one of the things I marked down, and it's a 1952 star decals of Richie Ashburn. It's type 2, no envelope. Richie Ashburn's one of the shorter printed ones in this, and the guy had 2 of them. He had a raw one, and he had the graded one. And I was actually thinking more along the lines of the raw one, but by the time I made it back, the raw one had sold, and he only had the slabbed one. Now, this is a Pop 1, none higher. In terms of PSA, there's only one graded. That's the population, and it is a PSA 6. So I don't care what the pop report is. I looked it up in terms of seeing how many might be out there and available. And, well, as it turns out, this is the only one. I did not look up SGC. But when I looked up on VCP, there's hardly any sales for this. So this was something that I was either going to get or possibly not see again anytime soon. And this is super cool. I mean, it fits my Phillies collection, which of course I like to try and pick up an example of all the different sets that I can find. It fits into the Richie Ashburn run, as I have all his standard run. He's a Hall of Famer, so hits so many levels, and that was probably the priciest pickup of the National, and I'm thrilled with it. It was awesome. Again, shout out to everyone I met. Triple Crown 24, of course, Baseball Collector, those back pages, Ray from Philly, Wesker Griff, Dave's Midlife Card Crisis, who I already mentioned, Victor the Rookie Card Specialist, Big Scott 35, Palm Beach Sports, Eloy the Goat Flores, James Gilliam. Oh, there's so many. I mean, I could go on for 20 minutes. I'm just trying to think of some people offhand who I maybe didn't mention yet. Prestige Collectibles, who I think I mentioned. That's where I got the Ichiro from. Don's Field of Dreams, George Diamond Yarn Cards, LouRok, of course. Shout out for providing some video in the background there. Bob Lewis, who I know had an interesting experience over there on the way to get some pizza. Gosh, so many. I mean, there were vintage oddball cards, John Mangini. There were so many. I have to almost think by the house. Legends Never Die, Rated Rookie. How could I forget? Of course, Andy. Ran into him obviously multiple times. Had a lot of conversations with him. Filmington, who I worked out a deal with, and guys, there's dozens more. If I ran into you and I forgot to mention you, obviously, my apologies. Post a comment down below. I'll get you next time. Anyway, the National was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed it if you were there. It was great seeing you guys. Those who lived through us. Sorry I didn't make more videos, but looking forward to Chicago 2023, AC 2022. Perfect? Of course not. Memorable? Absolutely. Sweet pickups? For sure. Awesome experience? Of course. Aftermath? Maybe not ideal, but hey, it's all part of it, right? So thank you for watching. As always, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the pickups, the experience, and are you looking forward to a National sometime soon? Have a great one.